Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? So, today we're going to talk about hardship and maturity. And that should sound pretty familiar to you guys right now because you're both going through maturing and hardship, even though it's not exactly the kind of hardship that I think anyone expected. So, to start, let's look at James 1 2 through 4. My friends, be glad even if you have a lot of trouble. You know that you learn to endure by having your faith tested. But you must learn to endure everything so that you will be completely mature and not lacking in anything. So, what is he trying to say here exactly? Well, to sum it all up, he's trying to say that if you're wanting to grow, if you're trying to grow, then growth requires putting in the work. Think of it this way: when you go to the gym and you work out, you don't do the thing that you already know you can do that's easy because you won't grow. Your muscles won't grow any stronger. You'll not become more endurant if you're running. You do something that pushes yourself. And really, that's what hardships in life are. And to be honest, the more hardships that someone goes through, the more mature, especially as a Christian, that they can tend to be, as long as they've been taking the time to grow from those things, to think to themselves, this thing has been put before me, this thing that I hate has been put before me, and I have to deal with it. But what is God's plan here? So let's look at James 1 12 through 15. God will bless you if you don't give up when your faith is being tested. He will reward you with a glorious life, just as He rewards everyone who loves Him. Don't blame God when you are tempted. God cannot be tempted by evil, and He doesn't use evil to tempt others. We are tempted by our own desires that drag us off and trap us. Our desires make us sin, and when sin is finished with us, it leaves us dead. So this portion isn't prosperity gospel at all. It's not if you follow God and do what He says, He will give you all these wonderful things. As you can tell by reading this, He will reward you with a glorious life. A glorious life is glorious through God's eyes, not our lives. Yeah, my idea of a glorious life is having a Ferrari and, I don't know, a 3,000 square foot mansion, right? But that's all things. God is not a God who's all about possessions. He's about making you grow as a person. It's very important, too, to remember that second portion because I think people often get this idea that God is tempting us or God is putting something in our life saying, hey, you want this? I'm going to dangle this in front of you, and if you reach for it, I'm going to smack your hand. And that's not really how God works. You see, God is more so allowing things to happen. And when those things come up, He's saying, the training wheels are off. I'm going to let you walk by yourself. Can you do it? Can you handle it? I'm putting this in front of you to help you grow. So how will you react? It's a lot like how my dad might have taught me how to mow the yard. The first couple times he was very close. He stayed very close with me to make sure that I was doing the things I need to do to be safe so I wouldn't hurt myself. But there came a point where he said, "Okay, try it out. See what you can do." And that's how God is with our lives. He's saying, "Okay, I'm gonna take my hands off. Be careful." So the second theme in this particular chapter, at least in the first half here, is about growth. How do we grow through these times? And let's look at James 1 5 through 8. If any of you need wisdom, you should ask God, and it will be given to you. God is generous and won't correct you for asking. But when you ask for something, you must have faith and not doubt. Anyone who doubts is like an ocean wave tossed around in a storm. If you are that kind of person, you can't make up your mind, and you surely can't be trusted. So don't expect the Lord to give you anything at all. So the biggest takeaway really from these couple verses is God is wanting you to grow. He wants you to give you the tools to grow. And not only does He want you to grow, He expects it. If I was to be one of you guys and try out for a football team, and I didn't get any better at playing football the entire year, then I wouldn't have grown, and coach would kick me off the team and be like, what are you even doing out here? What's the point? And God is saying here, I'll give you the tools. You just got to ask. You just gotta ask. I'll help. And so, if you're at a point in your life where you're thinking, I'm just not growing. I'm really not making good decisions. I'm not being wise about the things I'm doing, the people I'm with. Go to God. God literally says right here through James that if you just ask, I'll give it to you. And this is murmured in Proverbs. Ask. Just ask for wisdom. God is more than happy to provide that. More than happy to give you discernment. Now let's read this final verse here. Don't be fooled, my dear friends. Every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father who created all the lights in the heavens. He is always the same and never makes dark shadows by changing. He wanted us to be his own special people. And so he sent the true message to us to give us new birth. You're going through a rough time right now, but eventually this will end. When it does end, remember James 1:16 through 18. The good things are from God. The good things that happen in my life, I thank him for when they happen, because he didn't have to let these things happen. And I want you guys, as you're going through life, to look at both the positive and negative things happening through your life and put God first. And that's a very hard thing to do when everything's going great. So when this is all over, remember him. Put him first. In the meantime, if there's anything you guys need, please let me, Sarah, Destiny, any of us know what we can do for you, how we can help you. And if you have any questions specifically about this chapter or about anything really, just put them in the comments. We'll be more than happy to try to answer those for you. So until next time.